Contessa. Everyone calls me Q, and I hope that you decide to stick around and be a part of this community. Subscribe and join the tribe where it's always love and always a vibe. So the best place to begin in any story is the beginning, right? So a little over 10 and a half years ago, I relocated from New York down to Georgia to start my career as an insurance agent. Was great. The job was a little bit challenging because it was something new. Of course, being in an unfamiliar city, not knowing anybody, that presented its own challenges. But as far as my new life, I couldn't have been happier. I remember the hiring manager telling me that I was exactly where I needed to be. And by the end of that interview, I was convinced. And after a few months of working with the company, I was even more so convinced that I was right where I needed to be. I was making more money than I had ever made back home. I had great benefits. The people were cool, from the management to my co-workers. I was able to purchase my first car. Things were just lining up. My steps were definitely being ordered, and I was just so blessed. Now, fast forwarding to 2020, when the pandemic hit. Wow. I know, like many of you, we didn't see that coming, right? Our worlds were flipped on its head. Everything just started changing. But the company that I was with was so supportive. They did everything that they could to make sure that we had a smooth transition from working in the office to working at home, getting accustomed to that work from home life, and just really being there for us, making sure that we were still, being safe and that our families were good. It was great. The work environment still carried over to home, and the blessings, were still in effect. Sadly, though, I did lose both of my grandmothers in 2021, and that right there caused me to start having some introspection and think about things that I hadn't thought about before. My maternal grandmother, who I was closest to, she was just so excited and prepared to retire and start living her life more to the full than she had already been. She was just on pause though. Like she thought that she was gonna retire, and then she, changed her mind and said that she would wait a few years longer to maximize her retirement. She gave so much time to that job. She devoted her life to working. My grandmother always worked hard. For as far back as I can remember, my grandmother was a hard worker. She gave her all in her career. She gave her all to her family. She never really had any downtime. So, of course, the pandemic and being in quarantine, that ushered in a new way of us all thinking. We looked at the world differently. I really started thinking, what was going to be next for me? Even though my job was perfect for me then, did I want to devote all of my time to being an insurance agent for the rest of my days? What other things might I have been putting on hold as well that I could start implementing? I kind of wanted to start living for my grandmother, so to speak. Like, she propelled me to want to be healthier, to want to be more adventurous, and to step out on faith more. As the pandemic goes on and quarantine goes on, we're working at home for months turns into a year turns into a couple turns into 3. Throughout that time, the faces of the company start changing. The whole feel of the company started to change. The policies and procedures began to change. Metrics, incentives started to look a whole lot different than they had in previous years. And then the gotcha comes, where the company was preparing a return to office plan. First, it was just one day. I wasn't thrilled, but it was manageable for me. Then they stated that, well, if your performance isn't up to snuff, then you would have to come into the office more often. I was completely okay with that too, because I was going to make sure that I did what I needed to do in order to not have that be the case for me. But they backpedaled on that and stated, well, regardless of whether you are performing well or not, you need to come to the office 2 days a week. Time goes on, and then that turns to full-fledged, you need to return to the office basically full time, and you would just be able to work from home 1 day a week. 1 day? What is really 1 day? After we've been doing this job at home now for a few years. So of course we question this change. And do you know what these people had the nerve to give as a reason for returning to the office? They wanted to boost morale and for camaraderie. Child, camaraderie? I don't want to camaraderie with y'all. I'd rather be home. I was able to facilitate the home environment better for me and my son. I was able to duck and dodge these mysterious germs that was like wiping people out. I was able to be in my safe space. I was comfortable. I was able to move at my own pace. And believe it or not, I was way more productive at home than I ever was in the office. I was in my zone when I was home. But of course, the wheels had been put in motion for the return to office plan to be finalized. And then the day came for that to take place. That return to office was the beginning of the end for me. I get to the office, I'm miserable, y'all. I am miserable. My day-to-day demeanor was different. I knew that I was very standoffish, and it wasn't necessarily on purpose, but I just didn't have it in me. I didn't want to socialize with my teammates. I didn't want to partake in any of the office antics. I didn't want to be there, and it showed not only in my demeanor, but it showed in my performance too. Now, don't get me wrong, I wasn't doing anything malicious. I made sure I did my job, okay? But that was it. I just did my job. I did enough to still remain employed. And that wasn't serving me, because the new ranking system required you to be in the elite, okay? It required you to be top tier, cream of the crop, in order to get any type of raises and bonuses and things like that. And I wasn't making it with what I was doing. I had to be real with myself and take an honest look, like, okay, you aren't putting forth any effort in achieving any high type of rankings. If this continues, then you're just gonna be stuck where you're at. You're just going to be stuck making the money that you're making, and how long are you really going to be satisfied with that? So I decided that I would finish out my 10 years, and after my 10-year anniversary, that I would be resigning. That chapter would be closing. I gave them their 2 weeks. Gave them that 2-week notice. And when my resignation day came, that was it. Peace out. The plan was just to take a year off, devote to me, really see what else it was that I wanted to do. I thought that maybe I would look into getting into IT, or maybe get into like some fraud prevention type department, something that would still be computer based, that would still be primarily at home. Just something different. I was tired of insurance, to be honest. I really was. Now, as far as leaving the company, I knew the legalities, right, of cashing out my 401k early. I knew the penalty fees and the deductions and the taxes and all that. It was cool, because I still walked away with more than enough money and resources that would still allow me to live life for me and my son. But what I wasn't prepared for, y'all, were the feelings. And I am a Pisces through and through. I wasn't prepared for the feelings that overcame me. I was so much in my head. I kid you not. For the entire month following, now mind you, I resigned at the end of March. So for basically the whole month of April, I was just in my head, in my feelings, and I at times like felt physically sick. Like I felt like I had the flu sometimes. And I would just get up, start the day with my son, take him to school, and now my son is in high school. So I would take him to school or take him to the bus stop, come home and just sleep the day away, or watch YouTube all day, or scroll the day away. I didn't have no motion. Nothing was going on. And I just couldn't shake the slump. I just felt like, and not to be all philosophical, but how I really felt was like, what is life? What is life now outside of that job? I had been in that position for the majority of my adult years. From 28 to 38, I was, this insurance agent with this company. My whole life was centered around my work. I scheduled when I would take days off or vacations or doctor's appointments or, hair done, nails done, do laundry, make meals, go grocery shopping, everything, down to when I would sleep, okay? That was centered around my job. So now that I didn't have that structure anymore, I felt like that was a false identity too. I tied my value to the importance of that job. So since that job was now no longer, I really did feel lost. I felt lost, and I wasn't anticipating feeling the way that I did. Just a quick little backtrack. At the top of this year in January, I had came across a young lady on YouTube by the handle Jazz Hustles, and that's where I was introduced to Amazon reselling. So I wasn't able to get into it at that time, invest anything into it at that time, but it was something that, I put a pin in to see if maybe I'll revisit it later. So going throughout, my slump in April, I thought back to that Amazon reseller, and I said, you know what? I need something to do. I need something to get back in the game, basically, because I was grieving separating from that job. So I was like, maybe I should just revisit the Amazon reselling for real, give it a try, and just see where it goes. If for nothing else, it'll give me something to do, get me out of the house, and maybe I can learn something new. Who knows? The possibilities are endless, right? In May, at the top of May, I joined a Amazon reselling community, and I really put my all into it. I was dedicated. I went out into these stores. I sourced for products, discounted products that I was able to flip and resell on Amazon for profit. And it was just exciting to see the process, sending inventory into the Amazon warehouse and then seeing the orders, come in. It was fun. It was so fun. So I was so happy that when it was all said and done, for my very first month of reselling in the month of May, I achieved over $6,000 in sales. And I was ecstatic. Like, what? Like, I did that, Of course, you got to pay to play, right? And it takes money to make money. I was just proud of myself that I took the initiative to try something new and that it was successful. So much so that even in June, I really didn't shop for that much more inventory. I was doing things with my son and, taking him on outings with his friends. And then my niece came to visit from Florida, and I was doing things with them as well. So I was just wilding out for real for the month of June, but the sales were still coming in, based off of the work that I had put in May. That was carrying over into June, and I liked that. That I liked, because I was never used to getting residuals off of something and not having to put the work in right then and there in order to, get the income. That's what I was used to, going to work and getting a check. If I didn't go to work, I didn't get a check. But here it was, I was out enjoying myself for the whole month of June, and I was still making money based off of what I did back in May. That right there, I said, I'm free. I'm free. I don't care about the little plan that I had just to take off a year and then go back and start applying for jobs. That's it. I'm retired from the 9-to-5 space. I'm never going back. Like, I told myself, that's it. You are a businesswoman, girl. You can do this entrepreneur thing. It also boosted my business mind. Not only was I interested in Amazon reselling, but I started to think about all the other possibilities and different business ventures that I can eventually invest in. The fire under my ambition was lit, whereas previous to that, all I was consumed with was just going to work at the insurance agency and paying bills and, of course, raising my son. But that was really it. Maybe entertaining a relationship every now and then, but I really didn't have a spark. And all of these changes, even in the midst of what may be seen as loss, all of these changes ushered in a newfound hope for me. It was just exciting. And I was addicted. And I still am addicted. So here it was, I was 38, and I was embarking on this whole new life. I was just in shock. I was just in shock at the fact that I was able to start something new like that. I think back to my very first inventory shipment to Amazon, and it was just a little pile of things, and I had it stacked up in the living room in front of the couch, and I was just so proud of that little bit of inventory, and I was taking pictures of it and everything. And now, moving forward, the living room is not livable. We can't live in the living room because it's so much merchandise in the living room. But it's amazing to see how far I have come. And one of the best parts of all of this is being an example for my son. He was so proud to tell people where his mom worked. And when I told him that I would no longer be with the company, he was like, what? Like, are you serious? Are we gonna be okay? He really had all of these, concerns. Rightfully so. I was thinking the same thing, son. I was thinking the same thing, but I knew I would never put us in a position to not be okay, to not be better than okay, but I was nervous too. But now I'm able to show him that he can pursue other endeavors. No matter how long he's been doing one thing, he could do something else whenever he sees fit. He has the freedom to learn and grow and be his own boss if that's what he so chooses. And he told me that he was proud of me. And that right there was all of the additional motivation I needed to keep going and to pursue this new lifestyle for us. So if nothing else, I just want to be a sense of encouragement to you all, just to show you that it's never too late. It's okay that nobody gave you the playbook. It's okay that nobody gave you the suggestions or recommendations. It's okay that nobody led by example for you. If you decide that you want to switch it up at any given time, it is your life to do that. And that's what I'm showing. I want to give y'all some more in-depth videos on Amazon reselling as a whole. Also sprinkle in some fitness videos because I'm all about total wellness, mind, body, and soul. Some chit-chat conversations, things like that. Just everything of what I got going on, just the conglomerate of what makes me me, because no one of us is one-dimensional. We have many sides to us, and that's what I'm looking to show here on this channel. Come with me on this journey. Let's do it together. Let's mix and mingle in the comments, share some ideas and feedback, and learn something new along the way for us all. Really just be a testament to what can be done, no matter at what stage of life that you are in. I really just thank God all the time, mentally and audibly. I thank God all the time. Just thank you, Holy Spirit, for this place that I am in now. Thank you for the courage. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to step out and do something new. I want to be able to not only elevate myself, but expand and put my people on. And by my people, that means even my virtual people. Put my people on, because that is where the blessings really are. Not only in the upward movement, but in the outward movement. How you can be of service to your fellow man. And if I can do it, you can definitely do it too. I am excited to continue on this journey and to give y'all all a glimpse into it as well. If any of this is something that you can relate to or it sounds interesting to you, please do like, comment, share with your folks, and most of all, subscribe to be a part of the tribe, where it's what? Always love and always a vibe. I appreciate y'all. Y'all take care, and I'ma definitely see you in the next one.